So today, we're playing the Pyromancer with a crazy combo featuring two of my favourite weapons, the Staffire and the Impractically Large Greatsword. We tie these together thanks to the Moon Armor for tons of block and mana, our Friend of Fire for tons of heat, and our Amulet of Steel for our power to trigger our Greatsword. But hey, check this run out and let me know what you think of this build. Okie dokie, let's go and jump some rank games with a random character and see what we're going to get today. Okay, so it looks like we're playing the Pyromancer. We do start off with Eye Lamp, which is straight up craziness for sure. And that's going to be awesome. So we definitely want to grab a room. Are we going to offer this up? It is on sale. Pair of gloves seems pretty darn good. We're also going to grab the whetstone. And this health pot is looking kind of awesome too. So I'm going to grab it. Actually, I'm going to keep all these items. But I think this is going to be our best round one compared to any of these other items. So I'm going to move on with this for now. So we should get our health pot to give us 12 more life, which should be basically 37 HP. Give us a little bit more time to scale up that tiny bit of damage on the broom. But unfortunately, going up against a berserker, we didn't get that time, unfortunately. So we are going to end up losing. I'm going to grab a wooden sword. I'm going to roll because I definitely need this storage. I'm going to continue to roll, looking for some more whetstones. So unfortunately, we are going to move on once again. Now, we're not offering up anything into our offering ball, which is less than ideal. We should be in a much better spot with a second weapon in, and with our banana, we should get a little bit more healing overall between these two. And our DPS should have increased significantly. And overall, smashing. Just pausing the video here very quickly, just to ask you to subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, speaking of smashing, more storage, more whetstone, and we're going to have it set up to be like this, so we increase the speed of our eye lamp overall. Along with our banana. And we're going to move on. And we're going to be looking to craft up, potentially, a burning blade. So we do actually need to start offering up things into our offering bowl so we actually start getting some flames. But so far, this is looking pretty darn good as an opener. Now actually, we do have a choice to make. We could go with the investment opportunity to start scaling up some max life. If you do go for staff type builds. We could take Mana Mastery. I think this could be kind of awesome. It is on sale for 3, but it is a big risk taking it right now because it literally does nothing for us. But I'm still going to take it. But hey, we did get a skull badge, which I'm going to have to take. We're going to roll once, and there's that staff, which is perfect for us. We're going to take out our Star of Courage. We're going to be crafting up that magic staff, and we do have our Mana Mastery, which is perfect. But we are going to have to move on. Now this should be much better. We do have the skull badge to inflict a little bit of debuffs. We could go for staff on healing type build and see how this turns out. But for now, this should be pretty decent. Our opponent does have slime time. They're going to have a lot of healing between the goblins and the health pot, so they could actually survive us. We have our own health pot, and we have inflicted a lot of blind, so overall it should be in our favor. And overall, smashing. So for now, I'm actually going to grab a Corrupted Crystal. I'm going to grab a Fanny Pack also, which that's pretty much all we can do for this round. And we could also go for Serpent Staff, but I don't exactly want to either. Much rather go for Staff Fire type builds or Staff on healing. So I'm going to leave it for now. We're just going to continue on with this. Our Magic Staff should be able to scale up every 4.5-8 seconds, or every 4.8 seconds, which shouldn't be too bad. We're also going to be flicking a tiny bit of fatigue with that Corrupted Crystal. We're also going to be inflicting a ton of debuffs. So overall, it shouldn't be too bad. Our opponent does have 2 Amulet of Steel, which is straight up nuts. That's going to be a lot of power if they do start stacking up a lot of block. But so far, actually smashing. And we could go for that Burning Blade, but honestly, I don't think we actually should. Now, we know we could grab King Goobert here to go for Staff on Healing, but I'm going to roll. Okay, we're definitely going for Staff Fire type build, since this decided to show up. We're going to grab another Fanny Pack. We're going to grab a set of blueberries. We might actually want another health pot too. But for now, I'm going to move on. And I did move our blueberries out just a little bit, so it actually, our Mana Mastery can actually target. So now it's every 4.2 seconds. So all in all, should be pretty good scaling for us. However, can we deal with this other magic staff, who is literally our same build? We do have the skull badge and everything. But overall, smashing for us. And we got our Staff Fire, and we're 150,000%. Gonna end up going for Falcon Blade. We're gonna grab our health pot. We're gonna roll once. That's another mana orb. Leather bag. Undead Filamma. Fanny bag. All super fantastic options. The problem is we're gonna need a lot of heat. But for now I'm gonna move on. Now I know our potions aren't lined up, but it'll have to be this way for now. Which shouldn't be too bad. We should have a ton of mana between our mana mastery and our mana pot. Once this procs, it's gonna... Our Starfire should be able to scale up. And then after that, we've no heat. So we definitely need a way to generate up heat. But overall, smashing for us. And if we're going to need a lot of heat generation and we do have a lot of mana, then we probably want to go Friendly Fire. Otherwise, we could go for Dark Lantern and be inflicting a lot of debuffs, giving us time to scale up, even with that Corrupted Crystal. I still think we're going to grab Friendly Fire for now, since we're going to grab a Mana Orb. We're going to take that. We can't grab this for now. We're going to take another Flame. And we actually kind of want... So we are going to move on with this setup for now. We do have a Mana Orb, targeting our Falcon Blade, along with our Starfire, along with our Friendly Fire, along with our Skull Badge. With our Mana Mastery sitting in this position. Getting increased speed from our Falcon Blade, along with everything else. With our Mana Pot, and we're going to have our Eye Lamp target our Falcon Blade instead of the Starfire, because it's going to be twice the scaling on a Falcon Blade, more so than the Starfire. Even though we do want our Starfire to be hidden, we definitely just want that Falcon Blade to be scaling up a lot faster. So we're going to have scaling damage from our Starfire, we're going to have scaling damage on our Falcon Blade, and all shouldn't be too bad. However, we are going to begin a Deerwood Guardian Berserker, which is going to have tons of healing, lots of damage mitigation, but overall, smashing for us. Now we're going to grab this, which is the Amulet of Steel, which is actually kind of awesome. We're also going to grab another Fanny Pack, increasing the speed of our Starfire even more. I'm going to ignore the Corrupted Crystal for now. Shield of Valor for Moon Shield will be fantastic, but I'm going to leave it. More blueberries, we could craft up a second Mana Pot, which I'm thinking I'm more likely going to do. I'm going to continue to roll. And we probably want a second Eye Lamp just for 2 more heat at the very beginning, but I'm going to move on. I'm going to be looking for a Holy Armor to craft up a Moon Armor. I think that is going to be pretty darn good for us. Because one, that's going to give us a ton of Empower, and it should give us a ton of block, and we should be able to stack up a lot of mana that way. And so far, yeah, we have a crazy amount of mana, and heat generation is going to be our downfall. But overall, still just barely pulling ahead. So we do have a choice to make. Hardwood, we could take for a little bit of block. Might not be too bad, especially with flames. Bananas, we could end up getting a block from power. Otherwise, we can grab Superspacious, look for some extra bags. Might not be too bad. Also increasing the speed of our Starfire. Overall, pretty good. Which I'm thinking we're probably going to take. However, we're going to grab our Eye Lamp. We're going to roll once. Tiny bit of storage. Now we could grab a Gooberts and go for Chili Goobert, but I'm going to leave for now. Also, Prismatic Orb is pretty darn crazy because that could give us that mana from the very beginning. I'm going to reserve it for now and smash it. We desperately need a stamina sack. We could grab a Chili also. Now I'm actually going to have this Eye Lamp target our Starfire. We are going to move on once again. Just to be increasing the accuracy of our Starfire, so if our opponent is inflicting some blinds, that scaling damage on a Starfire should be able to smash. But all in all, we should have pretty decent scaling for damage. We just need to be a bit more tanky right now, because we barely have any defenses. And having no defenses right now is going to be pretty bad for us, especially going to begin a build like this, which is basically just going to outscale us. And unfortunately, we're going to end up falling short. So instead of getting some defenses, let's go ahead and get more offense by getting a ton more mana from the very beginning. We're going to roll once, and there's our defense. We could grab this Cap Resilience, Flame on Self for 1. All these are pretty darn good. Now we're going to have our Superspacious up in this position. Now we're increasing our Starfire pretty darn fast, which means it's going to be eating up a lot of stamina. Yeah, it has a stamina cost of 1, while our Falcon Blade has a stamina cost of 0.7. So we're going to be eating through our stamina pretty darn fast, especially going up against some shields. But can we deal with this Ranger? It's going to be super close. And we barely scrape by with a big 69 damage. Awesome. So for this round, we're going to grab our Holy Armor. We're going to place this in here for now as we craft this up. And unfortunately, we are going to have to move on like this for right now. We're going to be taking out one of our mana pots. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But we should be in a much better spot. We do start off with 5 mana. Get some heat. And we should be able to get a ton of block. with that armor. Make us a little bit more tanky as we scale up. However, opponent does have a lot of lifesteal, and that Impractical Large Greatsword dealing a lot of damage, and we actually just unfortunately end up losing, which is pretty bad. But we do have our moon armor right now, which is going to be pretty darn good. We're going to grab this. Let's grab our flame. Let's grab our cap resilience. Roll once. Okay, toad is pretty good because that is going to be luck and mana for us. Also another amulets. But for now, let's grab another fanny pack and we're going to make this the fastest moon armor alive. Okay, for now, we are going to move on with this. We do have our prismatic orb in disposition, giving us a ton of mana. It's also going to give us increased healing efficiency, which should be pretty good overall. And with that, we should get a ton of block with our moon armor. And let's go to move on. Make it super tanky as we scale up with our Staffire, which overall should be fantastic. 140 armor, pretty decent. But our opponent is going to be inflicting a lot of blinds, and we did increase that accuracy on our Falcon Blade more so than Staffire, which might actually be our downfall because we're not going to be hitting with our Staffire. We are going to be getting a shield also, and we could be in lots of trouble. And unfortunately, it's looking like so. But hey, we should be in a much better spot with our Captain's Comforts. We're going to grab this, which is the Amulet of Wiles. Not exactly what I want. We're going to grab the Toad. We're going to roll once. I'm going to grab this Protective Little Purse. I'm going to sell the Amulet of Wiles. Roll one more time. And we probably actually want Whippersinger. Although it might be crazy to buy in 12. Even though we are running through stamina pretty bad. But I think I'm still going to grab it for now. We are going to move on. We did move our health pots over. We do have our Toad in this position to be targeting our moon armor, along with our Staffire and along with our Amulet of Steel. So all in all, it shouldn't be too bad. We are kind of smashing down this Reaper, but they do have a lot of healing with that Nocturnal Locklifter. So super great, we did manage to craft up at least one Captain's Comfort. And overall smashing. Now we're going to check. We do have a 53 DPS, dealing 478 damage within 10 seconds, which is not too bad. Our opponent had a 40 DPS. Now as for heals, we have pretty much non-existent heals. But as for block, our block isn't too bad. So let's go and see if we can actually make this a lot crazier. And speaking of a lot crazier, that is a moon armor. Second moon armor would be straight up craziness. So I might actually get rid of a Whippersinger. Grab a holy armor, roll once, straight up get a mana orb, grab a set of blueberries. Now we could literally grab an Impractical Large Greatsword on top of it. Which I mean, we're going to sell our Falcon Blade in favor of actually making this. We're going to grab a set of blueberries, we're also going to grab this too. And we're going to sort our inventory, so we'll be back in a second while we do this. So we got rid of a Falcon Blade, which is going to be straight up crazy, but we're going to get a second moon armor. And once we get a second moon armor in, we're going to have tons and tons of block. And when we have tons and tons of block, we're going to get a lot of empower, and we're going to be adding in that Impractical Large Greatsword. Now we almost have 300 armor from the very beginning, which is going to be straight up awesome. We also have 7 in power, making that Impractical Large Greatsword go turbo nuts. Now our opponent does have a crazy hammer dagger setup with the brass knuckles, and immediately we're getting smashed because that's a lot of daggers. But here we got our second moon armor. We're going to grab Impractical Large Greatsword. We're going to roll once. We're going to grab this bit of storage, and we are definitely going to need Whippersinger for sure. I'm going to roll again. But hey, with that, we're going to move on. And this should be a lot better. We should get tons and tons of block. 330, we do start off with that in power, which means our Impractical Large Greatsword is going to be adding to our DPS quite significantly, along with that Staffire. So this could actually be super awesome. And so far, our opponent does get a big bursty with that whole setup, and we could actually be in big trouble here. And unfortunately, we are going to go down to our final life, which is pretty darn scary. Now, some pretty darn good options. An extra Prismatic Orb, another Mana Orb, all super awesome. But for now, we're going to grab this, and we're going to grab our Whippersinger. We're going to grab the Mana Orb. We're going to place our blueberries in like so. We're going to take out this flame for our Star of Courage. And we're going to keep this Prismatic Orb for now. And we're going to move on once again. And we're going to see, is this going to be good enough? Our opponent is going to be Dark Lantern or Dark Saber. Cursed Dagger, they're going to be inflicting a lot of debuffs. Decreasing our accuracy, which is going to be problematic, but with our eye lamps, Blighting shouldn't be too bad for us. And so far, this is actually looking a lot better for sure. And smashing. That's a lot of power stacked up, a lot of mana. And we do end up with a pretty much a 60 DPS with the Staffire and the Impractical Large Greatsword. As for heals, yeah, our heals being still super bad. And then as for block, we managed to get just about 350 block. This is going to be our final round. Now we're definitely going to buy this prismatic orb for now. We're going to roll once. I'm going to sell our banana to actually grab this stamina sack. I'm going to sell our Superspacious to actually grab this too, which is Amulet of Wilds, which is not exactly what I wanted. Overall, this should be super fantastic. We should have tons and tons of block. We should be able to scale up just enough time for Staff Fire and Practically Large Greatsword to deal a lot of damage. And we did move our Friendly Fire into this position. It'll have to do for now. And we're going to see. Is this going to be good enough? Are we going to fall short? We're going to slow this one down for the final fight. We're going to begin a Poison Ivy, which has inflicted a good bit of poison on us immediately. And they're going to be shredding our armor with all those stones. However, we're also resisting some of the debuffs we're actually inflicting on them. But we'll see. So far, actually, we're dealing crazy damage. Our opponent does have a good bit of healing. They have a lot of potions. They're actually going to be triggering a crazy amount of potions. And it's actually looking super close. But overall, smashing. When I say super close, we actually ended up not being as close as I thought it was going to be. But hey, definitely strange combo between the Staff Fire and Practically Large Greatsword. Two of my more favorite weapons. Now we ended up with an 83 DPS, which is actually pretty darn good, with 1000 damage dealt within 14 seconds. Basically 30% increased, basically 30% more damage than our opponents, and they even had a 25% increased damage on us with the Poison Ivy. It's not too bad. As for heals, yeah, heals been non-existent because Vampirism doesn't work with ranged weapons. It does work within Practically Large Greatsword, but Practically Large Greatsword is super slow, so it doesn't provide a ton of healing. As for block though, we managed to get 370 block, which is pretty good, but definitely could be higher. As for opponents, yeah, they had tons of healing. As for block, they were actually a hybrid between block and healing. And actually with the Amulet of Alchemy, they managed to proc a lot of potions. But anyways, we did survive with just 1 life left. Let's go and see just how much rank points we managed to get. Plus 8, ranked us up just a little bit. But I'm going to leave it here for now. I just want to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope to keep looking for the next one. See you next time.